We are less than 2 weeks away from the U.S. elections, and we are here, Arise News, in Washington, D.C., at the George Washington University campus store. We want to talk to young people, the youth, to find out how engaged they are about the elections. And we'll probably talk to some older people as well. Okay, Kiana, so are you planning to vote in this year's election?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you mailing ballot or early voting?
I'm going in and voting. I'm going in and voting, yes. And I'm voting for Trump. If you're black and you're voting for Kamala, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Now, why is that?
Because they want to keep us in bondage. That's why. It's so deep. It's too much. Y'all don't have enough time for me to go all the way into it. But dig deep and you'll find, if you vote Trump 2024.
And what do you think his chances are of winning?
That I don't know, because we're dealing with the White House.
Did you think the 2020 election was free and fair?
No.
So you think, but Trump lost all his cases that he challenged, where he challenged the election. He lost, even with judges that he appointed, he lost all those cases.
When you're dealing with the elite, you're going to lose everything. If you're not with them, you're against them. So
you think the elite are the puppet masters? They're controlling
absolutely. They're gonna put wherever their agenda is. They're gonna put whoever they want in the White House. So it really, to me, I'm still gonna vote just to say I voted, but that I did try. But they're going to put who they want in there.
Now, the African Americans are generally vote Democrat. How long have you been a Republican? I'm assuming you're a Republican or no?
Since I found out the truth.
What about your circle, your relatives, your friends, colleagues?
They're voting Trump.
Yeah?
Yes, they're voting Trump. Trump 2024.
Thank you so much, Kiana.
Thank you. Peace.
Yeah, so I think one of my top issues for voting, honestly, is just the marginalized groups and the issues that a lot of the marginalized groups face. So whether that be like abortion rights, whether it be anything related to like affirmative action with school, financial aid, student loan forgiveness, different things like that. I know that's a lot, but honestly, just making sure that marginalized groups are getting the rights that they need and that we have somebody in office who are fighting for them.
Now, what are you studying here at George Washington University?
Yeah, so I'm currently getting my Juris Doctor here at George Washington University, so I'm at the law school.
And for young folks your age, would you say they are involved as things are getting closer to the election? They're all ready to vote?
Yeah, I would say we're involved and they're really ready to vote. A lot of us, there's a lot of people mobilizing right now. I know that one of my classmates, they sent in one of our group chats about how some of them are mobilizing and taking a bus trip to Pennsylvania since it is a big battleground state. So I would say we're all pretty involved, and we know that this election can really determine, a lot of things important to us in our future. So.
And do you think it's going to be a decisive election, or do you think it could be really close and the results won't be known for a while since the polls look so tight?
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being a really close election, and I think it's going to be really tight. I know for me, I'm from Georgia, so I had to do a mail-in ballot. And with doing a mail-in ballot, they're still going to be counting those mail-in ballots, even after the, election day. So it's going to be really tight, and I think we are going to have to, hang tight and see what ends up happening. But, I think at the end of the day, at least from my position, I feel, pretty strong about hopefully what will happen. So.
Are you voting in this year's election? Yes. Do you plan to vote?
Yes, I mailed my ballot yesterday.
So you've already voted?
Yes.
Okay, how would you gauge I don't know if I should call it excitement or the vibe leading up to election among young people your age, university students? Are university students engaged?
I think they're very engaged in the elections. I think that at least at GW and in DC schools in general, they're very politically involved and politically motivated students. There's a bit of everything in terms of opinions and who everyone's voting for in all schools. But definitely, a lot of people at GW are studying political science or international affairs, so definitely political.
And what are you studying?
I'm studying international affairs and economics.
Do you plan on voting, or have you voted early already?
I'm not currently old enough to vote, but I've been trying to tell those of my friends who are to vote. I've been trying to get people engaged into the whole voting thing, yeah.
If you were old enough to vote, and actually just to clarify, you're not, because we're on a George Washington University, we thought you were a university student, a college student. You're actually in high school.
Yes, yeah, I'm a junior in high school.
All right. Now, if when you do get to college, you already know what you want to study?
That's a tough one. I hope I have some time left before I have to decide that.
You got a lot of time. So, if you were able to vote, what would be your top issue?
Top issue right now, I'd probably say the economy. I think stuff's been going a little downhill. Things been getting a little risky. Uh, I would like to see some more stability in general with the economy. Yeah.
And as far as, I guess, your friends in your age group or those who are old enough to vote, are they engaged? Are they, the young people that you're talking to, are they excited or involved or looking forward to the election?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of my friends, I'm gonna be frank, they're really nerding out about this stuff. I mean, there's definitely a buzz. It's GW, a lot of poli-sci majors. Even at the high school, I mean, people are really into it. And those who are old enough to vote, most of them are voting, yeah.
All right, so young people are involved. All right, final question for you, Anton. Do you think there will be a decisive victory either way, or do you think it's going to be tight and we might have to not know the results for days or weeks? How do you think it's going to end?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really close race. I was talking about it with my friends, with my mom, and I mean, I don't think the country's been this divided for a hot second here. I think that it's going to be a really, really tight one this year. I think it's going to be really interesting. If you asked me to predict the outcome, I could not tell you what.
All right, Ellie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. You're a student at the George Washington University. What are you studying?
Data science?
Data science, all right. So how are you planning to vote?
Yes.
Now, amongst people your age, young students on campus and elsewhere, how are you gauging their involvement leading up to the election?
I mean, definitely at this school, people are pretty involved politically. I mean, this is the city for it. I know all of my friends have either already voted, they're waiting on their mail-in ballot to come in. I actually do know someone that is going home so they can vote in person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this is going to be a decisive election, or the polls suggest it's going to be pretty tight? Do you think the result may not be known for a little while?
I think it might be a little tight, but we'll have to see. The numbers will speak for themselves.
Now, would you say, final question, would you say that residents of Washington, D.C. are more politically active simply because they're in the seat of power where the government's located and there's a lot of politics surrounding the city?
I definitely, yeah, I mean, I think that people come here because it is a hub. I definitely, I didn't really consider myself politically involved until I kind of got here and took a look around, and, you can't not kind of have you can't not see what's going on living in D.C. So I definitely do think that people are more inclined to be more politically involved living in D.C.
Well, what's your top issue for you as a voter?
Ooh, among many, I think as a person of color, and particularly as a black man in the United States of America, education, just making sure that everyday people are being informed about digital literacy and how to, be able to connect with emerging technologies.
What are you studying here at George Washington University?
Oh, I'm a professional. I'm a future astronaut, actually.
A future astronaut?
Yeah, actually, absolutely.
That is awesome. Hey, so do you plan to vote in person or by mail?
In person. You got representation at the ballot in person, or non-ballot for especially our college students is important. So I don't care how you get to the polls, just get to the polls and vote. That's very important.
And see, that's a call to action right there. How do you gauge the involvement of folks around you, your friends, colleagues, and other professionals or even students that you're talking to?
Well, showing up. I mean, develop a skill high enough that you become very proficient, become an expert at, and then take that back to those very same communities that may not have the awareness and the information. But it's all about the language, being able to speak high level, expert, complex problems to everyday people.
And finally, do you think this is going to be a decisive election with the results known immediately, or with the polls being so tight, you think it's going to take a while for us to find out?
Well, that's the good thing. I'm confident as a technologist. I think we're building systems that are giving us more fast, accurate results. But I think it's good if we have a little bit of time to keep taking our time with, making sure every ballot gets in on time, especially with a lot of AI algorithm biases. Sometimes I think we're being a little more careful. I think this election, because there's a lot of, disinformation outside. So we got to make sure that those tally ballots are counted correctly and precisely.